In just a couple of decades, gaming has gone from a niche hobby to the largest entertainment industry in the world. Much of its evolution happened to coincide with the mass adoption of the internet. So while players connecting across the globe was a novelty in the recent past, it quickly became the norm and a core part of the gaming experience. The days of video games being considered just for kids are long gone, but as the medium has exploded, the child audience has grown in step. Needless to say, appealing to children is big business, so there are developers who aim to do just that, and some are wildly successful. So successful, in fact, that entire industries spring up around their products. We've all seen examples of this on YouTube, channels dedicated to Minecraft, Fortnite, and countless other insanely profitable properties. But what happens when millions of impressionable youngsters flock to the site seeking new ways to enjoy their favorite games? Inevitably, where the vulnerable gather, predators will always show themselves. This is the story of Fave, who abused his clout in the Roblox community to his own selfish ends. Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited to announce that it's October. I'm very glad. I'm very happy. I got my spooky earrings. I'm not sure if you can see them, but they're little ghosts. I'm super excited. I'm glad. I love October, Halloween, fall, winter. Oh, yes, I love it. Y'all, the video we've got today is, it's pretty crazy. I'm just gonna put it like that. There's a lot of information in this one to dissect, so I'm not gonna keep you here for too long. So as I usually say, enough of my blabbering, let's hop in today's video.
This video is sponsored by Dungeon Hunter 6. Dungeon Hunter 6 is a new installment of the classic hack and slash series. It's a free mobile action role-playing game where you step into the shoes of a versatile bounty hunter. Your goal? Crush bosses and then have those bosses fight by your side. You can loot, ride, and fly them, even summon up to 3 onto the battlefield to join your squad. They follow you, perform combo skills, and at the late game, you can even shapeshift into them. This game redefines the boss battle experience. With next level 3D graphics, the visuals are absolutely beautiful. The animations are perfectly optimized for multicasting and ensure a beautiful visual experience. You can even team up with guildmates, experiment with skill trees, and trade items via the auction system. Ready to jump in? You can download Dungeon Hunter 6 free for Android and iOS using my link or by scanning the QR code for all PC users. Here's the bonus. Use my link to get a special starter pack worth $50. It includes 10 summoning scrolls, an SSR Lieutenant Demonic Wolf, and an accessory pack. Starting October 15th, use your game account to enter the launch Lucky Spin event. You can win amazing prizes like the iPhone 15 Pro Max, PS5, and more. Details in the description. So don't wait. Click the link, grab your starter pack, and conquer the depths of Dungeon Hunter 6.
First, we need some context. What is Roblox, and why do kids like it? If you look too closely, it's effectively a digital sweatshop, where the labor of players is monetized for the benefit of their shadowy puppet masters. But if you look at it at face value, Roblox is a gaming platform. The games contained within are made by its users, the vast majority of whom are minors. Its appeal is similar to that of Minecraft, where the freedom to create is the draw. Couple that with an art style as colorful as it is deeply unpleasant, and the whole result is a lot of calls to the bank by parents whose savings have been swapped for digital hats. With creativity being what attracts players, it's no surprise that there's a lot of crossover with other content creation platforms. On YouTube, Roblox is massive, and that's because the brand is ubiquitous for its younger audience. According to the folks behind Roblox, as of 2020, 2/3 of all US children between the ages of 9 to 12 were signed up. It's been around since September of 2006, and as a result, many influential figures in the Roblox community now are the kids who grew up with it. Often they'd started making their own content, be it levels or related stuff outside of the game itself while still in school. This is where our subject comes into the picture. Kenneth Brendan Shuck, better known online as Fave, created his first Roblox account on April 18th of 2007 under the name 6Kenny6. It would be one of many, though the first one that used the handle that would exist came into existence on March 11th of 2010. We won't go sifting through all of his account history because frankly, it's not very interesting. All that needs to be said is that these accounts tended to get banned for various reasons, from the use of inappropriate language to toxic forum posts and even alleged botting and item theft. His attitude outside of Roblox wasn't any better. This effectively sets the tone for the sort of character Kenneth seems to be. Inspired by the earliest Roblox YouTubers, Kenneth decided he wanted to follow their lead. He'd make a handful of channels that didn't really go anywhere, featuring content like this. Before starting the last one, that would become a success. Roblox Fave, later shortened to Fave, joined YouTube on August 28th of 2010. At the time of writing, the channel has 550,000 subscribers and has pulled in over 144 million views since its inception. Kenneth would pump out list videos, content related to Roblox news, machinima, and the occasional lol so random meme content of the time. The latest channel quickly left his previous attempts in the dust. 9 years of age is a strange time to start building an online following, but Fave did just that. While some of his early content went viral, most of it garnered a comparatively muted response, bringing in anything from a few hundred to a few thousand views. So, growth was relatively steady, though as is the way with YouTube, it snowballed over time. As the popularity of the game surged, so did the size of the audience hungry for related content. After years of consistent uploads, Fave became the biggest Roblox channel on YouTube and held on to that title for several years. With this much attention came influence. Eventually, it would become clear that Kenneth is not the kind of guy you'd want influencing your kids. Before we go any further, I just wanted to let you know to keep going. Life can be tough, but remember that you have the power to overcome obstacles and emerge even stronger. Take a moment to acknowledge your worth and the incredible progress that you've made. It's very easy to get caught up in the future and not thinking about all the amazing things that you're doing right now. I'm guilty of it. Take care of yourself. Flash forward to January of 2021, when the Fave document was released. In its 93 pages, it cataloged the accounts of victims of Kenneth's disturbing behavior. They were backed up by more than enough evidence to make the validity of the document's claims undeniable. Over the preceding 6 years, the YouTuber had been using his online clout to manipulate and exploit his underage fans, and their experiences reveal an awful lot about his character. As we discuss them, we won't be using any specific names here in order to protect the privacy of those affected. We'll also be covering them in a non-linear fashion in order to best represent Fave's MO with relevant available evidence to support our explanations. The earliest known victim we're aware of was contacted by Fave in 2015 and was just 12 years old at the time. Though little became public in her case, a second child fell prey to Kenneth in 2016, and she had far more to say about her experiences. Her account is an effective one, as she makes clear that his standing in the Roblox fandom impacted how she interacted with him. She too was 12, while the YouTuber was 16 to 17. He wasted no time in making the conversations inappropriate, which we'll soon see is a consistent way on how he operated. The few who defend Fave tend to point to his age when many of his uncomfortable fan encounters occurred to excuse his behavior, given he was a minor himself during several of them. This ignores the effects that being given attention by a person we admire can have, which can be very potent, especially for young people. It also skirts around the fact that even when he reached adulthood, his actions didn't change, and that, regardless of age, the manipulative tactics we're about to see evidence of aren't justifiable. Kenneth always seemed to use the same methodology. He'd find young girls with mutual friends, usually via Skype, or he'd DM girls who joined his Discord server. Given his friends were Roblox players, and the people who joined his server were players too, the crowd from which he was selecting children to harass was almost entirely comprised of people who admired him. Expectedly, this meant that when he sent a DM to a child he'd never met, they'd usually feel flattered that he'd singled them out for personal attention. The conversations always started innocently enough, but rapidly turned to flirtation, which frequently went to bizarre places. From there, he'd usually add the victims on Snapchat, where he seemed to feel he could get away with anything. This was Kenneth's account, under one of the many aliases he's known to have used online. Do bear in mind that on Snapchat, you can manually rename your friends. So, in some of the screenshots, the victim has changed his name to Fave instead. Once he had someone in an environment with less risky accountability, Fave tended to steer his conversations down a darker route with a loose list of questions. When he says they get personal, what he means is sexual, of course. While his confidence with overt perversion seemed to need time to flourish, soon staring at someone's bit emoji wasn't enough for him. He'd take things way further. Here's Kenneth at age 19 asking a 14-year-old girl to undress on camera for him. This wasn't the only time he'd pressured her into doing things she wasn't comfortable with. In other examples, we can see that the concerns of these children did nothing to dissuade him from continuing to take advantage of them. This victim was 13 years old when she was pushed into sending a 17-year-old Fave CP and allowing him to save it in his special folder. The use of dom/sub fetish language makes it all the creepier, given she wasn't at an age to really understand or consent to a relationship of that type. This girl went on to delete her Discord account entirely after Fave allegedly threatened to show her friends the indecent images she had sent him. Even in instances where both he and the person he was talking to were of legal age, his methods of manipulation weren't any different. He'd constantly push every interaction into sexual territory and use diminishing or demeaning language. If any of them told him no, he'd play nice momentarily, then repeat the cycle. This use of affectionate, often romantic language was no mistake. It was a method of control Kenneth used to mislead his fans into thinking he was there for more than ego fluffing and self-gratification. And when they'd explain that they thought there was something of substance between them, he'd gaslight them and sometimes blame them for his own solicitation of CP, as he did in this instance with a 14-year-old victim. As is probably apparent by now, Kenneth's entire demeanor seemed to revolve around the desire for control, and he tried to take control in any way that he could. On at least one occasion, he even made thinly veiled threats in the form of explaining how much of a girl's personal information he was able to obtain. All in all, there were 11 victims that we know of, though chances are high that there were others who've never come forward. While there had been attempts to expose Kenneth's inappropriate behavior before, it was the Fave document that would end his YouTube career. But how did it come about? Fave's undoing was the result of a chance meeting between one of his victims and the document's author. The author and the girl whom we'll refer to as E from here on found each other on a site called Brick Hill. Brick Hill is a place where those interested in Roblox can find like-minded folks to collaborate with them on level creation. It too has minor related controversies, which speaks to a broader problem with the game, but that's too dense of a topic to delve on today, so we're just gonna keep going. While the pair were getting to know each other, E told the doc author about Fave's predatory behavior towards her. Rightfully disgusted by this, the author made it their mission to seek out others who'd had similar experiences. In tandem, E focused on getting her personal story out there in order to expose the soon-to-be disgraced content creator. Like the majority of the girls targeted, she had been contacted by Fave on Discord, and she was so excited about speaking to someone she was a big fan of that she even bragged to her siblings about knowing him. One of the first things she told the YouTuber was that his Snapblocks video is what inspired her to get further involved in social media. At that stage, she had no idea the true colors Fave was about to reveal. Given the content of her favorite video, however, it seems like he might have been trying to out himself the entire time. And there are many cases where he does just that, showing a surprising amount of self-awareness for someone who had appeared to have no intention of changing.
Who wants to show me their pussy?
Fave, no, that's not how you get chicks. Just watch.
Kenneth has admitted to being a psycho who wants constant attention, and a girl who would dedicate her entire life to him. He's shown his narcissism by being confrontational with a game dev who included him in their project, but made him a rare drop rather than a legendary, and has been quite intent on making his narcissistic tendencies known, at least in private.
He put me as rare and not legendary. And
Not offended by that.
oh, I was so fucking pissed.
And perhaps most unbearably, in 2015, Fave began a career as a SoundCloud rapper under the name Fave. Oh, not Fave, Fave. Oh my god, I just had a stroke. His music seemed to have the express purpose of incriminating himself. He throws in a little anti-Semitism and a heavy dose of racial slurs just to convince anyone who was on the fence. At times, it seems like he was going for some like old school Eminem style shock value, but the result felt closer to like a bigoted Vanilla Ice. On the plus side, he does do us the Betty favor of spelling out the issue at the core of all of this.
Trying to open it up like we looking for gold. I do not fuck bitches that are old. I fuck them young hoes. I fuck them under hoes. Fuck them.
Because there is some justice in the world, maybe there's a God out there like looking down on us. No one cares about his music. There's so little interest in it that when we searched for his archive discography, there were literally zero views before we went on and ruined it. Sorry. In a recorded confrontation with Kenneth, E laid bare his faults, and broadly, he seemed to agree with her.
Let's see. And do you really mean what you say when you say you're on a clean streak?
Yeah, I'm 13 days sober.
13 days.
Yes, madam.
People only do that during Destroy. Oh, no, not Destroy. No, not November. And it's an actual challenge. So
I'm not talking about beat my meat. I'm talking about E-sex.
I hear you say stories about how you depend on others for affection, and that girls have blocked you in the past because every single girl probably feels too overwhelmed.
Oh, I know.
So why don't you get professional help?
Well, why don't you tell me where I lied?
That's not relevant.
I'm still waiting.
At the moment.
That's the question I asked, and then you just started talking about a different topic. Look, I'm not the only one in the wrong here, dude. Like, I'm wrong in a lot of ways too. Like, I was being pretty fucking manipulative and shit. Like,
while the conversation ended relatively cordially, once Fave had left, it's clear the others in the call aren't convinced he'll ever change.
Well, the narcissist part's still there because he was pretty much emotionless that whole thing, except for the.
I feel really bad, but at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, I still don't fully trust him. I've been told these things, he knows these issues, and he's still just hasn't really improved on them.
Unattended, like he hasn't fixed them. He's like lets them sit.
Her headstrong attitude was something he wasn't used to dealing with, and it would be the spark that led to his downfall. Thanks to the work of the Fave Documents author, E's efforts, and the willingness of other victims to tell their stories, Kenneth Brendan Shuck left his online persona behind shortly after word got out. While he's still out there in Florida and seems to be doing just fine, he's keeping his head down. His channels, Fave and Fave 2, still exist in monetized states, but there hasn't been an upload on either in years. Staying out of the limelight is definitely the right call, but no matter how long he sticks in the shadows, one thing will remain true. The internet never forgets.
hello?
Hey, Fave.
Who's this?
Why are you still running from the allegations? Yo, actually responded.
Before we hop into the end segment, we'd like to have the patron scroll. Obviously, you don't have to do that, but thank you so much for supporting my weird little videos on the internet. I know it's been a bit since I've uploaded. I'm sorry. I got a lot of life stuff going on right now. I'm sorry, but I'm going to try to get something more consistently as the year kind of comes to a close. I'm sorry. I love you guys. Thank you so much. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, why not like and subscribe? It definitely helps me out. If you didn't, though, why not dislike? And let me know what I can improve on for next time. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you on the next one.